This is the hour, the darkest place. Dante's Inferno, the devil's maze. It's a good world, good world gone bad. Fast. Half the people die while the rest of us are splitting hairs. It's a good world gone bad.
Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? Hopefully this is working okay. Roger and I have spent the last 45 minutes of the evening trying to get audio to work through the setup, so everything should be fine. Everyone that's joined so far probably knows who I am. I am Aaron Wilhelm, or you wouldn't be on my channel in the first place. I have got Roger from Life of Tech with me tonight to kind of talk about some of the headline tech things, and then to also just have some fun and just talk and interact with you guys. So Steve, good to see you in the chat. Mitesh, you as well. Roger, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you, sir. And how about yourself?
I'm not doing, I'm doing better than you, because I don't think it's as hot in my house as it is in your house. I think
it's
that's probably,
honestly, it's far too hot. I am definitely melting. It's not good.
you can hear the box fan in the background a little bit, so you know how hot.
Can you really? You can hear it.
Well, when you stood up earlier, you're still wearing jeans. So, I mean...
I am, that's true. But that, I thought I'd better do that because, you know, I wasn't going to wear anything at all. No pants, you know.
So, I mean, you could get away with not wearing pants. I mean, I don't know. I mean, YouTube may not like it, but I don't really have a pants policy on my channel necessarily that I care about. Viper, how are you, man? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, hey Viper, how you doing? We got loads of guys here. It's really good. We've got Steve, we've got Mitesh, Viper as well. It's nice. It's like a, it's a bit like a family reunion. You know, it's cool.
kind of like that. I mean, Steve, I don't know why it's TMI that I don't have I don't have a no pants policy on my channel. I don't know why that upsets you as much. If I worked from home.
The question, Aaron, we've got to be sensible here. The question is, do you have a gnome policy on your channel?
I'm thinking I should. And there's this one that keeps showing up on my feed every week, and for some reason he's kind of turning into an ASMR channel. These creaks and everything are starting to kind of put me to sleep in the middle of my workday. Not really appreciating that so much. Oh, it's the thought of Failtech. Thank you for joining, sir.
Yeah. Cool.
It's the thought of Roger with no pants on. I can understand where you're coming from with that. It's
Well, I did it for you, Aaron. So these hot jeans are, they're just for you. So there you go, sir.
As long as we got Steve, happy that you're wearing pants, and I just wanted to. I noticed that earlier when we were doing the troubleshooting that we were doing, that you had complained about it being 90 degrees in your house and you're still wearing jeans. I got a good kick out of that.
Honestly, it really is crazy, and anybody else in the UK will tell you that we don't mind the sun. We like the sun. We like the sun. We like the heat because we don't. Sometimes, like last year, the summer wasn't very good. You'll get like a week that's great, and the rest of the year is absolute garbage. It's terrible. But when we do get heat, and I mean like real heat, we can't cope with it. Our houses don't have. I was talking to you earlier, Aaron, about air conditioning. We don't really have that in many houses. Some people have, but not like it would be in a hotter country, not like in the US. So, but what we do have is fans. We've got lots and lots of fans. And but they just push hot air around. They don't do anything.
It's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty miserable. I mean, the 90 degrees that you guys are talking about, or the 101 degrees that you mentioned earlier, like that would be a heat advisory for us as well. So it wouldn't be fun. It would suck. But we get that several times a year during the summer, at least here in the Midwest. It's pretty typical. I'm sure Viper can understand that if he's still here with Chicago. Chicago summers can be pretty miserable. I'm about 3.5 hours south of Chicago, but it's still, Chicago can be freaking hot. It can be miserable during the summer, and it can be cold as crap during the winter too. So, gotta have that. I'm going to real quick share this on Facebook as well.
Facebook as well. You're going all out, Aaron.
Well, that's the thing. I
like it.
I have all these people from this town that I grew up in that don't necessarily do a whole lot with tech, but then they support this kind of stuff. So whatever I got to do,
nice.
You know what I mean?
That's nice. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Here.
Just trying to keep an eye on. This is quite difficult, isn't it, on a live stream? Trying to keep an eye on the live chat as well at the same time.
Oh, this isn't even anything yet. I don't think.
All these thousands of messages, I can't keep up with.
Yeah, compared to Viper, who God forbid, I can understand that guy not being able to keep up on Fridays.
The thing is, I mean, Viper has done. I mean, you have done so well, Viper, with your Friday Night Viper. I mean, that's party time on a Friday. That really is very good, and it's nice. I really think it's nice. You got the support of everybody behind you as well. So that's really cool. And for you, Aaron, this is good. This is nice because I think midweek as well. If you do something like this, it brings people together. And I quite like the live stream stuff. I mean, it's not for everyone, and as especially John with Recycle Bin, he's been talking about, it's not for everybody's channel. It's not going to help everybody's channel. But I don't know, for you, I think it could be good fun, and you could have a different guest on each week, or you could just keep having me on every week.
If we keep it with you, we don't have to change the graphics. The graphics can just stay the same for like a permanent period of time, and I can keep you up from like 12:30 in the morning to whenever your time. I mean, frankly, I don't appreciate or trust your time that well, or respect your time. So 4 a.m. in the morning is perfectly fine, because that's still 10 o'clock at night for me.
To be honest, it's absolutely fine. I mean, it is, I'm up all sorts of hours, so that's better. I just wanted to try and move that wire out of the way. It's driving me crazy. I hate wires, but but no, it's fine. It's fine. It's all good.
Yeah. So, Viper, right there with you, dude. If it hadn't really been for you in the first place, the live streams on this channel really wouldn't have been something I would have thought to do. Where John's point was this week is I totally understand where he's coming from. I even responded to him on Twitter saying as much as for a channel of their size, doing what they do daily, having 10-minute content here, every day, and then all of a sudden have this huge chunk of 2.5 hours or whatever the stream normally is, like 2 hours for the podcast. I can understand where he's coming from with it being kind of like, hey, holy crap, hold the brakes. What is this thing? What is it? Why is this here? This doesn't belong. So I appreciate that he's taking that experiment and he's taking any kind of potential hit that himself. Not that this channel is monetized, because it's not by any stretch of the imagination, but obviously that's a goal. To get monetized. That's not the end goal. Being monetized helps in the end, because it'll help with paying for things for the channel. But in really the first few streams I did, even though I did talk about some tech stuff, the main goals of those were to get watch time up. And I think really now it's kind of the purpose has changed from getting the watch time up to being more about the community part. So kind of like what Steve was saying is this, with people doing a stream almost every night of the week or every other night or something like that, so we've got tonight's and then Viper's got Friday, is if people can't join tonight, they can always rely on Viper on Friday nights. And I know from Viper, from seeing what you've posted on Twitter, for you, it's all about the connecting with people. You don't want to create a separate channel to fragment your audience. I totally get that. But the just the community behind it, because we all talk on Twitter all the time. But when you're in England, Steve, I want to say everyone's in Ohio other than Viper, and I don't think that's right. But everyone's across the country. You've got Chris that's up in Canada. You've got Zach that's in Canada. You've got, like I said, Viper up in Chicago. I'm in the middle of Illinois. Kind of just lets you hang out with the bros and get to talk. And Mitesh, I have no idea where you live at. You may have said that already in a video before, but Idaho. So Idaho, really? That's a total curveball. I never knew that. And for some, because John is John in Ohio? Okay, so so Mitesh is in Ohio. So you know what I mean? Like, I think Ohio is a big chunk. Like, there are a good number of people in Ohio. Like, I'm not just making that up. But anywho, then there's a good number. There's Canada, Ohio, and then England. I don't know what it is about those three regions. Is it really
bad though that I don't know where any of these places? I mean, I've heard.
Oh yeah, you silly Brit.
John, is that John's in Ohio? John Prosser, is he in Ohio?
Yeah. So like, wow. So do you know where New York State is?
Oh yeah, New York. I know.
So like on the East Coast, of like Ohio, if I'm not mistaken, like Pennsylvania. Yeah, I think it's like New York, Pennsylvania, like Ohio or something like that. Like Ohio is kind of East Coast, I think.
I really need to check this on a map of some description, don't I?
Well, it's like when we talked about England that one time. I had to pull it up because I don't. Yeah, I'm just 45 minutes outside of this town. I'm like, well, that's cute. I have no idea where that's at, but thanks for trying. But for everyone that's here in the States, you understood what I was getting at, so that's what matters, I guess. But so yeah, so you're dealing with heat stroke, with a heat wave coming through you guys. You don't have any kind of air conditioning for some English reason.
That's exactly what it is. It's a very English reason.
So typically, you said summers hit like 85-ish is like a good summer day.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more. It's normally not extra. We normally have just a crazy spell, like a 3 or 4 days where it's absolutely crazy, and then that's the end of summer, and here comes the snow. That's how it goes. Honestly, it's not good. But this year seems to be a little bit different because we've had this couple of weeks where it's got hotter and hotter. And then you think, right, here it comes. Here comes the rain. There's been no rain. There's been no wind, no air, no oxygen. It's just, honestly, it's a nightmare. It's just at the moment, it's getting hotter and hotter every day. Yeah. So, and if you don't have it, if you live in, if you're in a property with no air conditioning, you start to think, how am I going to cool down? So, of course, you take the pants off, you take the trousers off, everything comes off. You get all the fans on, and really all you're doing is just pushing. Like I said, you're just pushing around hot air everywhere. So it
doesn't really help in the grand scheme of things.
It's a nightmare, but it's good fun. And as you were talking to you earlier, Aaron, you were talking to me about turning everything off. That's a very good point because I don't ever turn anything off. Lights are always on, the PC is on, the Mac Mini is on. Everything is left on all the time, and of course that does generate more heat than I realised.
Yeah,
actually, it does generate quite a lot.
So at my job, we've got like a hardware resource room where we just have it full of server, more kind of like small business servers and workstations and stuff like that. And we used to leave that stuff on all the time because it was a QA lab. It just made sense to leave it on because if you needed it, it was there, it was on. And we actually had our own separate AC unit trucked into the building to just cool that room, because if you didn't, that room would easily hit 85, 90 degrees like that. So
Well, it makes sense then.
So it's the same. So it's the same principle at home. So here I've got my gaming machine that's I don't know. I think 5 years old at this point. I built it, and if I'm in this room long enough by myself, just with the PC running, even if I don't have my box lights on, if I'm recording A-roll or something, it gets murderously hot in here just from.
Hold on.
the heat
Sorry
on
to
that stuff.
interrupt you.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. What A-roll? What's
Hey,
A-roll?
what? Hey, really? You don't know what that is?
I'm just winding you
Oh,
up because I
like-
don't do any.
It's like, gee whiz.
I'm just winding because
The
I
king
don't
of
do-
voiceover, yeah. You've never had to be in front of a camera. You guys should look at probably Roger's second video. He's got
No,
one, he's got
please. No.
he's got one of the best intros into a video
I'm
ever.
gonna delete it
He's-
right now.
What? Were you wearing like a long coat, like a long trench coat? Like,
Somebody please.
yeah,
save
he
me.
comes in from screen left. Just comes in and he has the product in his hand and it's pretty great. Early Roger embarrasses the crap out of Roger, but it's great for the rest of us.
It's awful, actually. That's what it is. But it's taken me a little while to try and understand what I'm trying to do with the videos, So now I've hit a point where I get it. Up here, I know what it is that I'm trying to produce, roughly. Not perfectly, just roughly. So, yeah, all of that early rubbish won't ever appear on the channel again. And it will soon. It will have to. It has to go.
Nah,
That's
you should leave it on so then we can when we're 4 years down the road and we have a most embarrassing video contest or whatever we can.
That's what I don't want. I don't want to be part of that.
That's the best collaboration you can
I'm-
have, Roger. I don't know what
joking.
you're.
I'm joking, but I'd never delete it because anything that I produce, I'm proud of that. It's taken a long time to do it, but so I wouldn't delete it, but I definitely will hide it very soon.
That's fair enough
So-
because you don't really necessarily need it.
Well-
You know what I mean. It's not like you're because really anymore the views don't count towards your monetization like before.
Oh no.
Before, like the current monetization rules, like you had to have like 25,000 views or 20,000 views or something. That's not a thing anymore, so it's not. I mean, hell, your ASUS video takes care of that in the first place. So, but no, I mean, I agree with Steve. I would say.
I have to just say we've got JD Tech. Woohoo!
Oh, Mr. California. Oh gosh, he's in the
He
stream.
is in California as well, isn't he? So how's things going, JD? I hope it's nice and warm for you there, sir.
Yeah. What we were just talking. You just got here, so we were just talking about heat and what summers looked like in Illinois where I'm at, and then where they're at where Roger's at. So what right now for you, being out in California, you came from Florida. So is it less miserable or is it more miserable than Florida? Which, Roger, you don't know this, but Florida has got some of the highest humidity levels that I've ever felt of somewhere that I've been.
Okay.
That I've visited.
I've heard people.
I'm assuming
say
that's
that
what
before.
JD dealt with, but I don't know.
105 degrees. Wow, I couldn't see. That's too. That
On the
what-
daily. On the
What
daily.
would I do? What would I do in those sort? No, I'm sorry. In those, I couldn't work in those conditions. Well, okay, maybe if you're inside. Okay, so you can escape because you can go in and you've got the air conditioning. I would imagine most places are going to have that.
AC is pretty standard in the States, and if you don't have central air, then you've got like a unit that'll go into your window, like
Yeah,
that.
so at least you have some form of or some way to keep you alive, which is good. They need to
you're
invent
not slowly
something
cooking
in the UK.
cookies in your living room with the heat of the house. That's for sure.
We need to sort it out. Really, in the UK, it's not good. It's
Yeah,
it's not good.
I think if anyone looks at buying a house now and it doesn't have central air, that's like one of the first things that you look at doing, because screw not having air.
Yeah, well, that's right. No, it makes sense. It makes sense. Everybody needs that, don't they? Really, you can't function in heat like that. So
Right. So JD, the heat for you, is that heat? It's probably more of a dry heat. Like 105 is hot, regardless of where you're at. But do you have as much humidity as what you did in Florida? I wouldn't think so, but I'm not a pro. I went to Florida one time, so I'm far from a Florida pro.
that is very hot, isn't it? That's a lot of temperature right there. 105. Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of sweat in places you don't want it.
Yeah, well, that's also very true. That's also very true. Well, I hope you're getting on. I'm sure you are, JD, because you're a really great guy. But I hope you're getting on well with John. I mean, that's just like that's the dream job, isn't it? That really is so cool. So
Yeah.
Rather jealous. I'm going to see JD soon. I'm going to jump on a plane and no, I'm joking. But maybe, who knows, one day. That would be cool, wouldn't it?
It would be fun. It would be fun to have you here in the States, that's for sure.
I'd have to see. The problem is, I've got so many people that I need to visit now. Especially Viper. I need a live demonstration of his intro. That's what I I need that in. I need that in person. That's one thing on my list of things that I need to, to have happen. So.
It's dry heat, horrible heat, but the Florida humidity is 100% humidity. Would be, yeah. That's exactly how. I mean, it's not that bad in Illinois. I think like today was, and you're not derailing anything, JD. We were just kind of shooting the breeze anyways to begin with. We hadn't really got anything yet. So like today, the high was 85. Humidity really wasn't that bad compared to what it has been. So really, it was blazingly hot for a few, and then it's kind of calmed down a little bit, thankfully.
And you've got Kaiser Reveal as well. I think I'm pronouncing that right, Kaiser Reveal. So.
Kaiser, how are you, man? Who won the giveaway the other day, by the way? Kaiser.
Me.
Calling you out on that one. I don't know who won. Not that I'm calling you out on it. I'm sure somebody won it, but I was a little salty that it was the gimbal, and then you changed like that would have been one of the gifts or one of the things in the boxes, and then you for some reason it wasn't. So I was minutely sugary salty about that.
Were you hoping to win, Aaron?
Yeah, those headphones looked really nice, man. We got Mr. West. Look at that.
Oh, it's Mr. West. It's quite fitting as well that as you look at the UK, South, East, West.
Oh, no one won. Okay, well then I don't feel so bad about it. I didn't want to guess again, but she had like 40 some odd comments by the time I went back to it the next morning. So, no, and JD, I imagine, dude, I'm glad because John seems like such a nice guy on his videos, like the most down to earth, and I imagine that's not any different in real life. Like if you've seen the behind the scenes stuff that he's done, like they all seem like a great group of guys. I'm really happy for you, dude. That is awesome.
When you talk about going back and watching people's early videos, like some of my awful, disgusting. Okay, let's not talk about that again. But when you do that and you look at somebody's channel and you go back and you look at some of their very, very early videos. Well, I did that with John. I'm sure a lot of people have done that. I've done it with other people, like for example, one of my favorites, Mr. Who's the Boss. So I do that. I go back and I look at channels and I look at their very early stuff. And even with John, he's just always been so relaxed, so very calm. Everything is explained very well. It's just natural from the start, from the beginning, which is so good. He's just got the right everything about what he. It's really interesting to watch when you go and look back at some older stuff. It really is cool.
Yeah, I agree. And to have him as a boss, I think that would be pretty phenomenal. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can't top that, can you? Who else could you have as a boss? I mean, Marquez.
I don't know if because if you get away, who would be the better boss? So then we have to have like Jason from PHT. Then do who would make the better tech boss? Talk about some juicy drama there. Yeah,
well, that could turn into a whole series, couldn't it? That could be quite interesting. Oh, and we've got Concept Creator as well.
Well, the stream was fun, and then Concept showed up.
Yeah, I know. He said I'm going to come, and I said no, don't. But he's here, so no, only joking. Concept, how are you doing? That guy is superb, isn't he? So everybody here knows, I think, Concept Creator's work, but I mean, he really is. How does he do that stuff? It's so good.
Well, and I was a little. I check out streams and videos when I'm at work and stuff like that on my lunch break or whatever. And what was I going to say? Oh, Concept, you were streaming earlier, and it didn't dawn on me that you were actually streaming one of your design sessions or however you do whatever you're doing. And I was like towards the last couple of seconds, I was like, holy crap, he's actually streaming him creating something. So I went to click on it, and then you must have ended the stream or something because then it never loaded. I was kind of sad by that. So if you could facilitate around my needs next time, I would appreciate that.
I'm just looking in here at some of the chat as well. It's difficult, this, isn't it? I never realised how difficult this is, trying to read the chat and look at the camera and all this stuff going on.
Is mild. This isn't even as bad as what...
This is too much for my brain. This is like... Honestly, I'm finding this really hard.
So Dave is complaining of the same thing that you're complaining. So you and Dave are in the same regional area, so I'm sure he's not wearing pants, and he's got a box fan on him too, I'm sure.
Yeah, Dave's got his feet in a bowl of ice cream. I don't know, ice maybe? No, I'm joking. Dave's probably at work. He works quite late some nights. But yeah, it is very, very hot. I think there's about 4 or 5 hour drive, maybe a bit more between me and Dave. But yeah, the UK is just so hot right now. It really is. But
so we've got JD saying to keep up the old videos as well. So I think we started that as a joke, but for real, keep up your old videos. And in case anyone wants it, I found this program in Chrome that will allow you to create GIFs.
Oh yes, I still don't have that.
You can download. It's a web app, and it basically adds this a thing underneath like your toolbar on YouTube, and you can make a GIF from a certain video. That's how I made that GIF of John Prosser dancing the other night. And I made a GIF of Roger walking in with that trench coat, and he had like the product in his hand. I'll have to.
No, you can't.
That's gonna have to go on Twitter. I'm gonna have to share it. I can't keep talking about it and then not do it.
It's terrible. It's just like the most to see your. I give up. JD was saying as well, when he gets his studio set up, he'd love to sort of join one of these live streams. That would be awesome. I mean, I think. Okay, look, I'm so sorry. This is your channel, Aaron. So I'm just going to take a step back for a second.
No, you're totally fine. Yeah. So Roger and I spent what 2 hours last night, and then maybe 45 minutes before. You got Dave West bringing up the vape video.
I never made it.
The whole point of tonight, guys, actually the theme is to make Roger squirm, and I think we're achieving that. But anyways, I think we've spent probably 3 hours because Roger. I took credit for it on Twitter, but the thumbnail for tonight's stream, the background you're looking at now, the intro, the outro, Roger did all of that. So definitely appreciate all of your help, Roger, with doing that. So I just wanted to give you a shout out for that.
No worries, thank you.
But so what we've got going on is we've got me in Streamlabs, and then we've got Roger Skyped in, and then that's what I've got going there. So JD, I'd love to have you on sometime, or we can figure something out or whatever, but we'd probably have to do Hangouts at that point. I said all of that to get to the point of we could do it, but it wouldn't be able to look like this, I don't think.
I was just wondering, actually, the way you've got it set up, Aaron. I wonder if you did Skype it. I don't know. That could work. I'm not sure. I could be completely wrong, though. I have no idea.
I don't know. Maybe it would. I don't know. It'd just take more trial and error. So, yeah, I'd love to have you in. So we can get your studio set up. So, JD, maybe you can, not that you have to elaborate on that so much, but so you're working for John. You're still going to have your own channel. So, do you have like studio space in like John's area that you can film with, or do you have to do that at home? Was that like a perk of coming out? Was like you can use the studio when you need it?
That's a very good question. And we've got Aaron as well, 2 Minute Tech. Hey, Aaron.
Aaron, we can only have one Aaron in the video.
One Aaron.
So gonna have to ask you to leave. It's I missed your videos, man. I mean, I totally understand not having videos, but it'll be good to have you back.
Yeah, I can imagine that's a poor Aaron.
No, Aaron, it's good to have you. Thanks for stopping by, man. And I'll say this now because I think there's a good number of creators on here already, and then I'll probably say it towards the end in case there's more. So Aaron on his Creator of Awesomeness, I think it was a stream that he did. It may not have been the creator. It was one of the 8-hour Viper streams that he mentioned it. But he's he's done channel reviews for people before in the past. Even though he was smaller, he kind of was struggling with having authority over, kind of having the authority to help another person or tell someone else what they could do better. And I think the biggest thing with YouTube, and John's been kind of preaching this with the Creator Mindset podcast, which if you guys haven't listened to that, please do yourself a favor. I took a step back and went, okay, so I reached out to Aaron and asked him to give me kind of a channel review. And this guy, he recorded a 35-minute long video full of constructive feedback. There were constructive criticisms in it that weren't mean-spirited at all. I mean, if you know Aaron at all, you know that's not the way he is. But it's very easy to take offense when you put so much effort into something and then have someone kind of go, well, you could have done that better. So if you're in a place where you personally can have someone critique that in a kind way and in a purposeful way to actually help you, I would highly suggest reaching out to Aaron. He's said it before on that stream and then even to me on Twitter, is that he loves doing these things. So if you are looking for a second opinion, that someone's going to actually give you constructive feedback, you know, stuff that you can actually work on, and it's not going to just necessarily beat around the bush, I definitely suggest and encourage you to reach out to Aaron, because it has done a lot for me. I already have my next video recorded, so I can't really implement a lot of the stuff that he suggested, but my next video, I've got a checklist of things to go through, from A-roll to music to how I land jokes to all that stuff. So it's just super helpful across the board, and I highly suggest anyone that needs the help or think they may need the help to reach out to him. And with that being said, I just put my pedestal back underneath the desk, and Roger, you can now say something.
No, you carry on. I was just going to say, I mean, that's something I found. Okay, we all know that my issue, well, okay, not my issue, but something I struggle with is I'm constantly concerned about what people think about the stuff that I produce, and I probably shouldn't do that. Well, okay, maybe it's a good thing that I do, but to have people offer you some feedback is so good, it's so valuable, you know, when people give you that feedback. And I guess if you put yourself out there and you're asking for that feedback, then yeah, you need to be ready to hear what people are going to say, you know. And that's the thing, isn't it? Everybody's different. Some people will like something you did and they won't like something else. So it really does depend, I guess, on who you talk to and what advice you're asking. But I think, yeah, somebody like Aaron, for example, 2 Minute Tech, I mean, he's a great guy. He can edit very, very well. He can, you know, his content is very, very good. So to approach somebody like Aaron and ask for advice, I think is really, really good. You know, Aaron could probably turn that into a business.
Probably could, and honestly, for the amount of value the amount of effort he put into that to help me was spot on. And Kaiser, thank you for the comment. And he wasn't necessarily picking apart like the timing of the jokes, but it was the how you present, or how you kind of drop or present the kind of the what am I trying to say? Kind of how you actually drop the joke is what I have a tendency of doing. Is I have dry, sarcastic humor, and I usually just make little comments in my video. But what would help the impact of that is cutting out the background music, for example. So I usually leave the music in there, cut the music out completely. It adds more of a dramatic effect, or gives more effect to the joke, and then cut back into the music. And honestly, that makes perfect sense, and something I'm going to look at implementing. So, he wasn't going, well, you really should have cracked the joke there. You should have done it there. You know, he wasn't telling me he wasn't telling me how to be me, just how I could improve it in the end product. So, yeah, there's that. Let me catch up on.
I was just looking at the chat. Viper's got an R. I was just trying to, but it is definitely an R.
Yeah, just maybe he's gonna start putting 3 R's in his name instead of 3 Y's.
He's a pirate. He's turned into a pirate. R.
So we've got.
Yeah, go on.
We've got Andrea, who is a gal that I work with at work. I don't know if she's still in the stream, but if you're here, thanks for joining.
Amazing.
We've got Concept still. Better not ask for help, man. It's crap, and my B-rolls need work. Yeah. If your stuff is crap, then what is mine? And what is I mean?
I know Concept's talking about. So Concept obviously does. Funnily enough, Concept.
He does. Yeah, he does. He does actual reviews. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
And that's what I think he's talking about. But actually, his stuff is pretty good. I mean, his reviews are good. You know, the quality. I think he's just he's turning into me, just very critical about. I personally can't help that. You know, that's just me. I guess that's just the way I am. But Concept stuff is good. I really don't think he's. You know, but it's a good thing that he's always trying to improve it. That's what that's the one thing. Okay, I feel like I take that over the top all the time, but I don't know. I think that's a good trait to have. It's a good thing to just constantly want to improve it.
Yeah. Really, Concept's just spending too much time with you. That's the
That's the
problem. Yep.
Too much. Sorry for you, Concept. I really do.
Too much time getting your butt kicked in Fortnite. Steve was mentioning that earlier, that you're going to get him in trouble with all your Fortnite streams when he's supposed to be working.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, let's see here. So, Aaron, it was my pleasure. Thank you again. I got Lover of Tech. Ben, how are you, man? Thank you for stopping by. How are you? How's the heat treating you? We know how it's treating Dave and how it's treating Roger. Do you have air conditioning? If you do, you're like 3 steps above the other guys.
But you know that Ben's going to come back with like, oh yeah, it's all good, it's all fine, and he's chilled and he's cool and whatever. And I could just imagine it. I just imagine it. But to be honest, it is. I don't know if I can say that word. It's very hot at the moment. Let me word it that way. Who else have we got? We got so Steve as well. Steve's talking about it, and he's absolutely right, saying if you're not trying to improve, it's time to move on. And I do think that's right. I do think honestly that is definitely right. And then just going back to it, because this is so Viper. How do you do this? How do you keep an eye on it? He goes down one by one, I think, doesn't he? That's how.
Yeah, I think he skips over like Concept making the XD smiley face. And JD, see you later, man. Thank you for stopping by for the period of time. Appreciate you. Looking forward to seeing what you do with John, and then also what you do with yourself. So appreciate it, man. And I also typed in there. I don't know which Aaron you're referring to, either me or the other Aaron. Either way, we can both. I mean, we can just have like an Aaron and JD group chat. I'm okay with that.
Now, I wonder if we can find one more Aaron.
Well, I mean, technically, Mr. Who's the Boss. Well, he says it's different, Aaron, or however. Yeah, right. Is that how he said? Yeah, that's how he said. I mean, same name, just different pronunciation.
I think I think it is just Aaron.
Yeah. So there you go. So Concept's got air conditioning.
Oh yeah, Concepts. He's quite happy, He's just
but why? So I mean, he's an out. I don't understand Europe at all.
Yeah, he's in the Netherlands, and it is very, 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 very hot there as well. I think at the moment. So.
And a freaking high energy bill. Yeah, I can. Yep.
Yeah.
I can feel that. Feel it.
I can definitely imagine. And Viper's saying that it's getting worse and worse and worse.
I bet, man. And you've got a team of moderators with you too. You've got Jeff helping you out with the chat and stuff.
Can I just say as well, how on earth does Viper on a Friday, because I'm sure he's at work on a Friday, he's probably been down the gym, working on the biceps, which I'm very jealous about. He's been doing all that stuff, and then he's been to work, and then he's come home, and he's had to eat, and then he streams for 8 hours. How?
I don't know. I'm convinced he goes to the chiropractor Saturday morning.
I just don't. I mean, it is amazing. It's great, and it is that is Friday night now, isn't it? Well, for me, it's sort of like very early Saturday morning.
Yeah, Roger gets up at 2 a.m. to his time to watch Viper streams.
The last time I was on one of Viper streams, and that was great fun, by the way. That was really, really good fun. We had a load of other people there as well. And I wasn't on there for that. I was on for about, I can't even remember now, half an hour, maybe 1 hour, something like that. It was really good fun. But it was like 6 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning, and I'd been up all through the night. But it was good fun. It was good fun.
I think everyone has a blast on those streams. I mean, Viper, you've done more than one thing very well, but you've done a very good job of bringing the community together even more than what it was before. I mean, we went from, honestly, I was telling Roger this before, I think about a month back, I went from being the only guy that I knew on Twitter in tech, other than like John and like Marquez and those guys, to all of a sudden having Roger, Viper, Dave, Aaron showed up in April, and having this huge group of guys that just everyone supports everyone. It is incredible. You can post a video and have 30 comments over the course of 4 hours, and most of it is from other content creators, which is just great, the amount of love you get from everyone. So it's perfect.
It is very,
Steve.
very nice.
I'm sorry. I knew Steve before everyone else. I will give Steve credit. I think I knew Steve back in like November-ish. I think.
Steve is
and
the
I actually
guy
met him.
that does...
I met Steve on Reddit. surprisingly enough.
Oh, really?
There's a subreddit on Reddit called NewTubers. I think that's what
yes.
it was, NewTubers, something like that. And it was kind of I don't remember how we ended up getting together, but there was another was it Axiom? I think there were a couple of us tech guys on there, and I got to talking with Steve, and that friendship's been there ever since. So yeah, no, Steve, forgot about you. Don't hate me. Love you.
He's the guy with all the potatoes, isn't he? I know.
He's got that weird gnome that shows up every once in a while. I don't know.
And the gnome, the whole gnome thing is going on. I quite, as strange as maybe that sounds, I thought, I don't know, especially the very first gnome video, when I saw that, I just thought, this is absolutely genius. honestly, it's like this, what's it called? ASMR, AAM, I have
ASMR,
no idea what
yeah.
it's called. Yeah, there you go. It's a bit like that, but with gnomes, you know?
Yeah, well, I don't think he's aiming for that, but like you said the other day, he had it. I mentioned that with the stream because it sounded like the microphone was in the stream, and I think he said he had some issue where the gnome fell over or the microphone fell over like 3.5 minutes into it, so he had to start over, and he moved the mic closer to the gnome, and it was right there by the stream. I was like, man, that sounds so good. I just want to put headphones in and just fall asleep.
No, yeah, exactly. They're like, okay, they're very different to the tech stuff, but interesting. Yeah. Could be.
There's a place for it. It's a niche.
Yeah,
but
definitely is.
But there's got to be a gnome niche. Get on Reddit, Steve. You can probably find some weird stuff with gnomes.
There are some groups out there, gnome groups. These people, they love gnomes. There are a lot of them as well.
You can't trust any of them, but there's a lot of them. So Dave says this time last year had nobody to talk to in the same community. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm right there with you, dude. Yep. That was born out of discussion of useless videos with my family.
Oh, I've just noticed we've got Leon. Hello, Leon. So Leon, okay, maybe I'm not allowed to say. Leon, let me know if I'm allowed to mention who you are and where you're from.
Oh, I need to change I need to change that from the top top comments. Aaron, thank you for stopping by, dude. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your family. Appreciate it. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. Good to see you here, mate, and we'll see you soon.
Tinker Forward, man, how are you? I have seen you on Twitter as of late, and honestly, I'm doing a terrible job of not watching your stuff. But thank you for stopping by.
So this is definitely is very interesting because I think when you look at I can't remember who I was talking to about this the other day, but when you look at other creators that now are much larger. Okay, let's talk about John Prosser, for example. Maybe he's not a good example, I don't know, but a few years back, how did these creators find the confidence to continue doing what they're doing, improve their content, and how did they do that if they didn't have the support like we've got now? With a whole group of us, and we're all trying to support each other. And how did those guys do that?
They've got to be persistent people, man. Like that's got to be. I mean, it was rough. Having Steve was a real big help, and we really didn't talk that much. I mean, we talked, yeah, but you would put in some of my old videos, don't have necessarily. I didn't necessarily have as much, there was no community involvement. It was, my mom. Yeah. It was like, her friend from work, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. And I think actually Steve there in the chat's just saying that it was a different environment then, and it wasn't so saturated, and that is very true. That is very true.
And I love that it's also more, it's not so much that we're competing against each other. In a way, we are, kind of. But at the same time, I don't necessarily want to step on Roger just to get ahead, to get one step ahead of him. You know what I mean? Like we're kind of looking at, Roger may review this product, and if I happen to be on the same deck to review that product, sure, there's that little level of like, man, I hope I do better than Roger. But if Roger does better than I am, I'm not like, dang it, I'm never going to talk to Roger again. Because there's still that camaraderie there to help each other grow, and that's what I like, is that we're all here to grow. We're all here to impact people. And we're not doing it at the expense of our fellow creators, which is great.
Yeah, that's right. That is right. And I think the other good thing is as well that when we you look around at all the different channels, especially in our niche, if you like, in the tech side, tech scene. We're all covering different things, aren't we? So we're not all doing the same type of product. So like you've got the general himself, El Jefe, he's doing obviously like Bluetooth headsets, and sure, he's not always going to do, I wouldn't imagine, just Bluetooth headsets.
He's very good at them, though.
He is very good at them. Yeah, he is, and because he knows what he's talking about. He's looked at so many of them that he's good at that, and that's what he's good at. But there's going to come a point when he probably will think to himself, okay, I've reviewed 7 million pairs of Bluetooth headsets. I don't ever want to see another pair again. And when he gets to that point, I guess he's going to start looking at other products that he would like to review or make some content on, and maybe like Travis, for example, as well. So Travis has tried, like recently, his latest video, he's aimed at giving some helpful advice, if you like, to creators. So that's not a tech review, but it's still tech related, and he's just trying to move into explore different types of content that's going to help his channel and people are going to be interested in. So everybody's doing their own thing, everybody's doing something different, which is really, really nice. So it is saturated now. And that's going back to Steve as well. So he's got all the Hackintosh stuff going on, and it's great. This is what I love about it, because everybody has got their own thing that they're doing. You've got Mr. West, he does very, very detailed camera app walkthroughs, and he does all the Anker stuff as well, a lot of Anker products and Xiaomi stuff as well, which is really, really good. He's actually, just talking about this, if you guys haven't seen it, one video I thought was really, really, really good by Mr. West was the Google Home Mini, I think it was. Just trying to remember if that's what it was. But anyway, it's a Google Home speaker, definitely. But you'll find it on his channel. That was a great video. Very, very fun.
I'll have to check that out. See, I'm kind of in bed with Amazon. So when it comes to Google Home stuff, not that I don't want to watch it, but I don't necessarily have the value in it because I can't.
No, that's fair enough.
But I think that's exactly. I mean, it's a very good point, because you've got. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that comment, Dave, because you drop a naughty word in that.
Oh.
Not really. It's already done it. So never mind. It's there. No big deal. Scott, hey man, how are you?
Scott,
glad to see you, man.
Scott's another great guy, isn't he?
Appreciate you. So Leon Kim, no problem. Roger makes great reviews. Of course he does. He's very great at it.
Oh, so hold on, just to double check. So sorry, Aaron, to keep jumping in on top of what you're trying to say. Just to check, Leon, you're happy for me to tell everybody who you are and where you're from? I just want to make sure that I can do that. Just want to make sure.
And here's their social security number, which you probably don't have that because you're English.
I get it.
No, you're fine, Dave. Don't worry about it. It's it popped up where I could hide the comment or whatever just because it flagged it with the F word in it. It's not the end of the world. Scott, I'm glad to see you here, man. We were talking about the support in this community, and Scott is right up there with Jeff. Everything you post, he's going to share it. And lately, if you guys haven't, most of us on this stream probably know who Scott is and have watched his stuff. If you haven't, please give him a couple of minutes and just watch his stuff. He's new to YouTube, but he's not even hitting tech necessarily. He's more of a lifestyle channel, but he's hitting heavy topics. So alcoholism, being addicted to drugs, smoking, that kind of stuff, and what's working for him. And he's supported everyone in the group so much up to the build-up of his own channel. So he's been supporting everyone for months before he even released his own videos. And to have him, support everyone and then have him release his own stuff, it's like, finally, you can only say thanks so much. Then when someone starts creating their own content, you can go and share their stuff. You can like their stuff. You can subscribe. You can actually start to return that favor back to them. And so, Scott, thank you. I appreciate you, man. And keep going with your content. I don't know what you have next because I don't know what else you can be addicted to. And I don't mean that in a negative way at all. But I'm looking forward. Yeah, there you go. Being addicted to video games. Are you addicted to Fortnite? Because Roger is, and he's not any good at it.
Thanks very much. None taken. Yeah. No, okay, no, that's good. So Leon is Leon Kim is my contact at Spigen, so that's how I know Leon.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I didn't know if I could mention that, but Leon says it's fine, so thank you, Leon. So if any of you in the chat, because a lot of you obviously have tech review channels and so on, then maybe just I don't know, say hi, Leon, and Leon may possibly then, I don't know, get in touch with you guys, but. Yeah, a lot of the guys here, Leon, are tech reviewers. Not everybody, but some of them. So,
Leon, thank you for checking out tonight.
Thank you very much. Nice to have you here, Leon. That's really cool.
Yep.
It's really good.
So Tinker Forward, I wasn't following you, so now I'm following you on Twitter. So apologize for that. So you got Viper just going, all right, man, time for some context. Let's get rid of these stupid emails that just don't have don't even have my name in it. And I was thinking about that the other day, Viper, and I don't know, maybe you have said this, but does anyone actually know your real name in the tech community? I mean,
Viper he did reveal his name on one video. And I'm so cross that I can't remember what video it is.
Well, he's only done like 300 since January. How are you supposed to?
I know, that's right. But I honestly, I did go back and try to find the video where Viper revealed his real name, but I cannot find it. So I'll find it, unless he now quickly goes and hides it. You know?
He's going to delete that video. Like, no, I'm good.
He knows what video it is, yeah.
I'm good.
So
yeah. Let's see here. Looking here real quick at the chat to see if I missed anything. I don't
Speaking of legit. They are, yeah, I've got all of my contacts on deck, Viper. You are absolutely right. And they are all legit. But yeah, Leon is a really, really lovely guy. So, and of course, he works for Spigen, and Spigen are one of my favorite case companies. I do think they're very, very good.
I think really if you have a cell phone and you've never used a Spigen case, then you're doing something wrong. Like there's a reason.
Yes.
There's a reason why Spigen is who they are in the community. Yeah, I mean, Viper, if you can give Dave permission to say your name, appreciate it.
Everybody needs to know Viper's name. Everybody get ready to screenshot the chat so that you don't forget Viper's real name.
Oh, Viper won't let him share it. Dang it.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's also a bit like Concept as well. We need the big reveal. We need to see who he is.
Yeah, I made the mistake of asking that on stream the other day, and it was like, oh, Aaron, you made that sin of asking him what his name is. He doesn't share that in public. I was like, oh okay, sorry.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Had good fun with that though.
Yeah.
So we haven't really covered any kind of topics so far tonight, and I've been perfectly fine with that. Because we're about an hour into it, and that's perfectly fine. I just getting caught up with everyone has been great.
It's going to turn into a 6-hour thing, you know.
That's I hope not for your sake, because you're not going to be able to get out of bed tomorrow. It's only 8:20 for me, so that's really not that bad.
Okay.
So I've got a couple of things that I wrote down, and we can kind of I'm going to mention a couple of topics, Roger. Then you let me know what sounds good to you.
Yeah, cool.
So I've got the MacBook Pro and that whole debacle. We got so John Prosser the other night hit touch base on the Samsung Galaxy Note line being dead. We've got wireless charging. Do you use it? The Samsung ads where they're targeting Apple. So again, John covered that with Front Page Tech. So we've got that, and then the last thing that I wrote down, since we're already kind of on the topic of the community, was talking about Travis McPee's video last night. Was it last night? Yesterday? Last night? Something like that? Either way. With the reviewings and doing stuff like that. Out of those 5 things, what sounds good to you?
It's so difficult, isn't it? Because we could talk about all of this stuff.
And really, Dave's already kind of on the topic of the Note line. He's going to cover it in Car Diaries tomorrow.
Well, okay, maybe we could.
I'm okay with talking about that if you want. Touch base on it. I don't think it's a super huge topic that we could start.
Yeah, let's talk about that briefly, because also having Dave here, I'm sure he'll be able to. I know it's a little bit different because you can't see him or hear him at the moment, but he'll be able to sort of join in with it in the chat as well. But yeah, so you start off, Aaron.
Sure.
Yeah.
So my initial thought with the Note line Yeah, and I think I commented on the front page tech video yesterday. I typically try to. Is the All right, hold up. So Steve's leaving us when we start getting into good tech stuff. I see how it is, Steve. Gonna work on that yard. Get out of here.
He's just rearranging the gnomes. That's what he's doing. He's just
you really need to
go around.
Yeah, you need to record your gnome video. Okay, all right. No, Steve, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you, man. It's been good. Been great talking. Don't hurt yourself. Yeah. You've been doing yard work literally all summer. How much more do you possibly have to do before you're done working on that yard?
It's the gnomes, definitely.
Yes, yeah, it's got to be the gnomes. He's got, like, they've had kids.
Either that or the potatoes are just taking over.
his yard work is secretly just curating his potatoes. Yeah, he doesn't even know why he's still working on his yard. It's just how it is. So before I read Dave's comments with the note line, I do agree with you, Dave, that I think the note line caught people off guard. I totally can see where you're coming from with that. My point with the note line and why I do agree with John that I think that it probably is close to being dead, simply because I don't think there's necessarily a place for it like there was before. So when you had the Samsung Galaxy S3 with, it's a relatively small screen, compared to the Notes at the time. You had your small Galaxy S devices, and then you had your Note devices, which were, of course, much larger. They had the pen. The pen wasn't necessarily kind of the selling point. It was that gigantic flipping screen that was kind of the selling point. And now you've got the S8, which is much bigger. You've got the S8 Plus, which is bigger still. And then you've got the Note, which is really just a hair bigger. It's really not much bigger than the S8 Plus. And with the pen, to me at least, not really ever having been kind of a main selling point of it, I don't necessarily think, they can't keep selling the Note line based off of it being the bigger device, because there's not as much of a difference now like there was before. So I think that's where I'm kind of coming from. The way I thought with that was maybe they do a Galaxy S8 or a Galaxy S10 Note edition or something like that. So maybe they have they have three products. They've got the S10, the S10 Plus, and then the S10 Plus Note, or leaving to Samsung, they'll call it freaking like Samsung Galaxy S10 Bixby edition or something, but it'll be like S10 Note edition or something like that, and then it'll be a little bit different. Maybe there'll be a speaker gone or something so that they can then fit the pen in there. I don't know. I'm curious what you think, Roger.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had. I think I've had a Samsung device. It's crazy, isn't it? One Samsung device. And the problem is because I've always been a real big Apple fan. That's the truth. And I've always been sort of interested in the Note line. So I feel a little bit gutted actually that maybe it will vanish. I don't know really. I can tell you that my brother, he used a couple of different Notes, and he really liked them. He thought they were absolutely superb. But I see where, I see what people are talking about, because as you look at handsets the way they are now, they are getting bigger, and the screen size is getting bigger. Yes, you've still got some handsets with a notch, some you haven't. But how long can they keep hold of that Note line for before, the Galaxy S, whatever it's going to be, or the Galaxies, hit the same sort of size? So is it really worth having a separate line? I don't know. Maybe like you've got Apple, for example, and we don't obviously know exactly what's going to happen yet, but looking at the sort of sizes of the handsets they're going to bring out with the iPhone 10 and what's going to happen with that is quite interesting. But I think maybe it will disappear. And like Dave says in the chat there, maybe it will turn into an enthusiast's handset. Maybe it's not going to stick around.
Well, and kind of like what Concept was saying was it would be the Galaxy S10 Plus Pro. Or, I'm sorry, Galaxy S10 Pro. If it's Plus Pro, I wouldn't be surprised, because Samsung can be stupid with their naming stuff, like with the new Bixby speaker like, being whatever they're calling it. What is
Mugby or something?
Yeah, Magby, Mugby.
Magby, something like that. Yeah.
I mean, come on.
That is silly. But I think, I don't know. It's difficult. Yeah. It's hard to know exactly what's going to happen, isn't it, until it actually happens. But then half the time, you sort of think, what are these manufacturers actually doing?
Right. Well, and kind of like Dave was saying, Samsung wants people to be carrying around the poster child, the S line, not necessarily, a Note isn't a general public. Yeah, I mean, you're right, because I think the Note popularity blew up so much when it did because of the product being what it was at the time. You had the I mean, I keep saying the S3 because that was my first Galaxy device, was an S3. Wow. So I think it was the Note 3, Note 4 were out about then, but the Note devices had such larger. Was there a Note 1? I'm wanting to say like they skipped like the 1 and they went with like 2. I don't remember that exactly, but there was such a difference in size. Like it was like, if you want a bigger phone with a bigger screen, you go with the Note devices. And now it's, if you want a bigger device, if you want that, then you just go with the Galaxy S8 Plus. Like there's not.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, unless you go with like what Apple was doing with like the what's that smaller version of their phone that they have? The
SE.
Yes, that. Like, if Samsung still, if the SE size was like your standard size, and then your Note was your larger size, it would still be just as popular as it was for those years. But I think it's run its course and it's done its thing. It helped push the market to larger devices. Because really, had the Note not been as big as it was, and Samsung seen how popular that was, I don't think that screen size would have been bumped up to how large it is now as quickly.
Yeah, and just that's fair enough. Just looking at the chat again there, and Leon said that there was an original Note, or it was just, I think Concept also said it was just called the Note, so that, the first one was just the Samsung Galaxy Note, or Samsung Note. And Leon also says Note 7, ouch. Well, yeah.
Yeah, there was a Note 1, 2, 3. They had a 3 Neo, whatever that means. Note 4, Note Edge, which was, I think that was the first phone that had kind of that curved edge, which ended up being on the Galaxy S7. You had the Note 5. They skipped 6 for some reason.
Wasn't that something to do with, to tie in with what Apple were releasing at the time? I seem to remember, I can't remember now.
I don't know why. There's probably some valid reason for why they skipped it. I don't know.
I'm sure there was something like that.
Then they had the Note 7, which like Leon was pointing to, and John's pointed to in the last couple front page tech episodes, with his blowing up, little clips in there. Then they had the Note Fan Edition, which was basically the Note 7 with non-stupid batteries in them, rebranded as the Fan Edition. And I think they only sold them in Korea, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh, it's because they replaced the 6 Edge Plus.
Yes.
Okay,
I think
that makes sense.
I seem to remember that now. That does definitely ring a bell.
So, Elijah, you're welcome. So excited for the reveal of the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus Pro Plus and Ultra to infinity and beyond. Yeah, that's
sort of sound the Plus Pro. It sounds like an energy drink, doesn't it? That.
Yeah, but isn't some phone already that? Isn't there already like a Plus Pro? Like it sounds familiar already because someone's probably already done it.
Yeah, maybe. I suppose it's going to get hard to keep coming up with names for phones in the end. It's just going to be, I don't know.
So Concept was saying it's because the Note was one number behind the S series.
Ah, that makes sense then.
So they skipped, that makes sense. So then you've got the Note 8, which we've got now, which is no big deal, and you've got the Note 9. I wouldn't be surprised if you see it die after the 9. I'd never thought about that before, but that's a very good point. Honestly, I'd never even considered that.
Yeah, well, as the the standard line of handsets get bigger and bigger, but the screens get bigger, especially if they manage to figure out how to get rid of, how to get like a 99% screen to body ratio. I mean, can you imagine just get rid of it? You're just going to be holding a screen in the end, which is cool, I suppose.
Well, and I think you were making fun of it earlier, but I think didn't Oppo do that? I mean, if that were to ever be a full production device with that camera that slides up, I mean, I don't think it's feasible ever, but that was a good looking phone. I just don't think it's necessarily feasible right now.
Concept's done a couple of videos as well. I mean, I can't. Which video am I trying to think of here? I'll find it later on. But yeah, I mean that's the thing, isn't it? They're still trying to figure out a way to get rid of the notch. And I suppose once they do that, and they've found a sensible solution, then the screen size becomes a lot bigger. You know, the screen area becomes a lot
Right.
bigger.
See,
So
that's the thing with the notch. I mean, that could be a whole separate conversation with that. I mean,
oh, we could spend hours talking about that, especially with Viper. You know, we could.
they never really get anywhere with it. I don't know. The OnePlus 6 is is one of the phones that I've seen with the notch that I don't think looks bad at all. I don't think it looks bad at all. I think it looks clean, and I really have to keep myself from going, I need the OnePlus 6, because I really don't, because my S8 Plus is still working fine. But it's such a good-looking phone, I want that phone. And I've not wanted a phone since my S8. I've not had a need where I've been like, man, I really want that phone just because of how... And it's not that it's necessarily innovative. It's just a good-looking phone at a good price, and it just kind of leads you to want to kind of get it. But looks like Leon is dropping off. Thank you for stopping in, man. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you stopping in.
Yeah, thanks, Leon. It's really, really nice to see you in the chat there. So I hope you're well, and obviously I'll catch up with you. I'll speak to you soon anyway. So thanks. Nice to see you. That's good.
So Leon, I hate to sound like an advertisement. We shall keep our cases coming for the Note 9 and the new iPhones ahead. No, I keep doing what you guys keep doing what you're doing. I mean, you guys have a business to run.
Yeah.
And Dave, I forgot you went to the OnePlus event. Yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah, that looked like quite a nice event actually. That did, and you could see that Dave was really excited about it because I think not only was it an event, you know, a OnePlus event. I think Dave really does like. Well, we know that he really does like OnePlus devices, and rightly so. You know, because they're very well spec'd devices at such a good price. You know, at a good price.
I mean, it's flagship specs for middle ground price.
Yeah, absolutely. And same, you know, same could be said about when you look at the budget range of handsets or the mid-range sort of price point. Okay, like the Zenfone 5, for example, which I think is very, very good. So when you look at that sort of price point, that's a whole different ball game, though, isn't it? Because you've got flagships, you've got mid-ranges, then you've got the real budget stuff. But I don't know, they all seem to be, the handsets that are out now are you know, they're trying to get rid of that notch. Obviously they are. I mean, I really don't think, maybe people would scream at me, but I really don't think the notch is that bad. I really don't. And I said that in the Zenfone 5 review as well.
Yeah, concept is very triggered by the idea of a notch. It appears he's not a fan of it.
He's only joking. He loves the notch.
Oh, is that what it is? I can't ever tell you guys your guys' humor. You know, across the pond, you guys got weird humor.
Yeah, he really, really does like the notch.
Yeah, you know.
I'm joking, by the way. He hates it.
I figured as much. I'm not a huge fan of the notch, but honestly, I don't think it looks bad on the OnePlus 6. Now, if we're talking the potential of the Google Pixel 3 XL, screw that notch. That notch looks ridiculous. Like that.
It does look a bit.
Honestly,
yeah.
I can't unsee that face. Or that face every time I look at that camera. Or look at that phone. The way that those renders have come out, it looks like that wide-eyed. It just, oh my gosh, it's such an ugly. So the way that OnePlus has done it, it looks nice. It doesn't. I don't know. It looks good. I'm not.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't there. You know, or if it was kind of like the Essential phone where it's got that notch. I thought that looked kind of funny. When it first came out, but you want to talk about notches, I mean, there's just enough notch for the camera, and that's it. I mean, you want to talk about like full, you know, screen to body ratio, that's how you do it.
Yeah. And you know, they're going to find a way. They'll find a way to get rid of the notch eventually without having things that pop up and down, and with that, there will be. Yeah, they will. Of course, they will. Eventually, we've just got to live through. We've got to deal with it and live through this period of the notch. But I really personally don't think it's that bad. Honestly, I don't.
Yep, just gotta get through 2018. After that, I think it'll be a big change. I'm curious what the iPhone X line or iPhone 10 line is going to look like. And I'm not overly curious because I think all the renders kind of already show what it's going to look like anyways, and I don't think it's going to surprise anybody. It's going to look almost identical to what the current 10 does, but I'm curious if that notch is any smaller. It may not be, Knowing Apple, it probably won't be, but you never know. And
oh, you never know. You never know what Johnny Ive has, has done this time. You never know what he's got up his sleeve, do you? That's the thing.
Do you follow the Not Johnny Ive parody account on Twitter?
I do. Yeah, I certainly do.
That's such a good account.
That really is very funny, actually. Really is very good. Not Johnny Ive. Yeah, no, that is right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it so I can share it in the chat. Anyways, that's a good account because it kind of everything you make fun of with like the overheating of the laptop, he'd probably make some comment where he's going, no, you're just not that you're using it wrong thing, but he would come up with some reasoning like well, actually you just didn't know that it was the Easy Bake Oven setting or something like that, So
it's a great account to follow. It's a little bit of fun when you're scrolling through your feed. It is, it's good. Yeah. It's good fun.
So that kind of, really, when we were talking about the OnePlus, devices, when we were talking about that mid-market. So the one thing with the OnePlus that was a big deal this year was wireless charging. So it's got the glass back on it, no wireless charging. So with you having the 10, do you use wireless charging on your iPhone?
Very good question. I did, and then I did, and I used it on my desk, and I used it by my bedside. I used it all over the place. It did drive me a little bit mad because it didn't fast. Can't talk for some reason. It's too hot. I blame the heat. It didn't charge as fast, of course, wirelessly as it did with cable, so that was one issue for me. But if I just sat at the desk and I'm working away, I can leave the phone there and let it do its thing. Right. Let it just wirelessly charge. It's fine. It's easy, much easier because you haven't got to keep plugging it in and unplugging it. But then I reviewed the Asus Zenfone 5, and of course now that is what I use all the time. I am actually using that handset. That's my device. I'm using it all the time. That has a glass back, and wireless charging isn't a thing, so with a lot of these handsets. But I get, again, it's to do with the price point, I suppose. Mm-hmm. So with some of the more expensive devices that have a glass back, you would think that, maybe you would hope that they have wireless charging, but Dave seems to be very happy with it. He seems to be happy with the fact that it's got a glass back and it doesn't have wireless charging. It's not a problem. For me, anyway, I think, I like having a cable in there at the moment because it charges quite quickly. So I think, for me, wireless charging for some people is handy. For me, I'm not too bothered about it, to be honest. I like the glass back of the Zenfone 5 because of how shiny it is. I think it looks really, really cool. But it's not a big thing for me, wireless charging, really. It's handy. It's handy.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's cool to have it, but do I think you need it? No.
Oh, my goodness.
What? Oh, John, hey, man.
You seen it.
Yep. Oh, hi. Hey. How are you? Thanks for stopping at my stream.
Yeah, that's really nice. Front Page Tech in-house.
Yeah, I appreciate you stopping by, man.
Problem is, somebody told John that I was talking about notches.
That's what probably. Yeah, we were talking about at least something that's triggered John in the last week because there's been a lot of things. So it's. But no, so with the wireless charging, so like you were saying, so the current product that I'm reviewing is from iOtti. It's the Easy One Touch. It's such a stupid name because it's so long. The Easy One Touch Fast Charge, like car charger or something, or something. Like, it's just so stupid how long of a name it is. But it's a really good product. My reviews speaks very highly of it because it's a good product. I've not had any issues with it at all. But one thing that I had to change was how I was using my phone so I could actually use the wireless charging. So I was using a pop socket, which, judge me all you want for that. But that keeps you from being able to wireless charge because there's something in between the back of the phone and the charger plate. So I took the pop socket off and I'm back to my slim case and my Ninja Loop to hold my phone that way. And I can wireless charge using that. And really, it's super convenient in the car. Like, super convenient in the car. And I think it's convenient on the desk as well. I'm not as big of a fan of it on the bedside table.
And what's that called? A Ninja Loop? Is that what it is?
A Ninja Loop, yeah. So just...
See, I don't think that... I mean, maybe that's... I've seen one of your videos about this Ninja Loop, and I think maybe it's a thing in the US. I've never seen them before. I have no idea.
Yeah, well, they're kind of called different things. They're also called phone loops. So they've got I'm going to go ahead and link it in chat. But really, all it is here. Let me take my.
See, do you like that? Because with me, I mean, I guess some people like that. Some people find it
There we go.
handy.
So real quick, so all it is honestly, this is just a piece of like satin, and then it's got 3M adhesive on it. So this piece right here, and then
I
there's a
remember.
piece underneath
Yeah.
it. It just attaches
Yeah.
here, goes through your camera slot, and then the port for your charger. Everything's backwards. I'm having difficulty. And then you just put your finger through it and hold it like that. There's the camera.
That's cool.
So
Yeah,
they're
that's
like
handy.
$5 a piece, $6 a piece, which for what you're getting can kind of, you know what I mean? Like you can, it sounds like you're kind of paying a lot, but it lets you customize your device while also giving you that hold without a pop socket. So if you want to use stuff like wirelessly charge or wireless charging, you can use this, still be able to hold on your phone and it not interfere because it doesn't get in the way at all.
Yeah.
With that.
Well, that
So-
makes sense. That makes sense. Like, I mean, yeah, like for me, the whole wireless charging thing isn't really, as I said, it's not really something that I'm too bothered about. But for some people, if they do want to wirelessly charge, and as you say, then
yeah.
I'm just thinking as well for a second. It's completely changing the subject, so my
Oh, boy.
apologies. But I always do this whenever I see John. I always say thank you very much for everything that they're doing for all of us at the moment, because obviously they're doing a lot to help us guys out, the smaller creators, and that's superb. So thank you very much, John. And it just shows you, doesn't it? It just shows you that John's even here to come and have a look at the stream as well. So that's really nice.
He's stopped by a
Really
couple of them now, and it's always appreciated. I mean, everything you're doing with Creator of Awesomeness, Creator Mindset. I mean, dude, that, and hopefully he's still here so he can hear all this. But
I love that.
I went on this huge rant the other day on Twitter. Not really a rant necessarily, but I've hit a place on my channel where growth has kind of, halted a little bit, and it happens. You get discouraged, and that was kind of where I was at. And you listen to episode 1 of the podcast, and it's so just in your face. YouTube owes you nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it was just so, I don't know. It was really good. And then this week's as well, episode 2, is just as good. I mean, I've listened to it, I think, just the one time, but I have every intention to listen to that thing multiple times too. So, John, if you're still here, thank you. Keep challenging us to be better versions of ourselves, because I think that's what's needed right now for us in the tech space, but then even just anyone for that matter on YouTube.
I think this applies to a lot of different creators as well. As you say, not just the tech space. I think so many people can learn from that, and it is a bit of a shock when you listen to that first one. It's like somebody has just literally slapped you around the face.
Well, and I think it just shows how much is resonating with people, because there's so many people that are either hitting him up on Twitter, on the Creator Mindset account, or even just his own Twitter account, of people that aren't even just like in our core, I don't want to say core community, because his community is so big, it's bigger than just us tech guys. But there's so many more people that of names that you haven't seen. So it's not just people that are on his streams or people that you see in the comment section on his videos. It's really reaching a pretty broad, and for it, I think he said after episode 1, they were already the top 40, 50, I guess, podcasts. So that's after one episode, man. So.
Yeah, that just shows you, doesn't it?
Yep. It's good stuff. It's actually really nice, because I was talking with Aaron, talking about Aaron earlier with the channel review. The way he's delivering these podcasts is from a place of, I don't know, love may be too strong of a word, but it's coming from a good place. It's coming from, he's wanting to help people. He's not wanting to just beat someone into the ground and go, get the F over yourself and do this. That's what he's saying, but he's not, that's just John being John. But that's also him. That would be like me saying, hey, get out of your own head, stop being an idiot, open your horizon. John's just much more abrasive and brash about it, and gets it done in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And with it being so short, you can listen to it 2 or 3 times and not really be out much time, but really have that ingrained in your head. So I love it. It's been good.
I think it's very, very good, and I think a lot of people will. This is the thing: the people that choose to listen and choose to act on what they're listening to are the people that benefit from it. Some people will listen to it. That's like anything in life. Some people are not going to take the information in; they're not going to do anything about it. But
well, those are the same people that aren't going to grow. Those are the same people that are going to get frustrated with where they're at, they're not going to grow, and then they're
Yeah,
going
that's
to
right.
they're going to blame everyone else, or they're just going to quit and not know why. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. And it's like anything, isn't it? So if you're doing something and it's not working, then you have to reevaluate. You have to look at what's going on, and then you have to try something different. And,
Yeah, exactly.
You have to continually sort of work on what you're doing. So,
You can't be too proud to do that. You can't be too proud to go, okay, what I'm doing isn't working. Ask for,
That's right.
That's
right.
Like in this case, if there's new people here, Aaron from 2 Minute Tech, did a 35-minute long channel review of my channel. I asked him for feedback because he offered it on one of his live streams. He delivered, and did the same thing. So John provides that kick in the butt that you need. Aaron may provide more of specific details around your channel. So really, that's kind of like a 1-2 combo. I know they're not marketing that together at all, but listen to John, apply what he's giving you, and then reach out to people for feedback if you're not growing, and look at implementing what other people are doing, or what, look at implementing some changes and not just being stuck in that rut that you may be frustrated with.
Definitely.
So,
Definitely.
what was I going to say? Wireless charging, back on that topic, because John may not be here anymore because he hasn't responded, which is fine. He's busy. So wireless charging. So I mentioned the iAudi Easy One Touch fast car charger. 14-syllable long name. Review will hopefully be out. Probably it'll be out in the morning. I'm going to finish editing it tonight. I've had no issues.
Cool.
I mean, I actually love this charger. I prefer wired charging, kind of like what you mentioned. I'm okay with wireless charging if you need to top off, like if you need a little bit of a charge, like on the way home from work. Wireless is fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you need, if you're not necessarily concerned about speed, wireless works out fine. I don't like it on the bedside table. I just do not like it. And the part that confuses me with wireless charging is, it's nice to be able to just put your phone down on something and it charge it. But at one point, if I'm not mistaken, don't batteries have some type of cycle to them? Where if if you've got a phone that's at 30%, 40%, charging it to full and then letting it drain and then charging it back up, and kind of doing those types of rotations is good for a battery. But if you have a phone that's at 20%, you charge it to 28%, you pick up your phone to look at a notification, you put it back down, it charges at 30%, you pick it back up to look at a game notification, you put it back down, it gets to 32%, you pick it back up. You know what I mean? Like where it goes on and off of charging like that. At one point, I'd heard that was bad for batteries, and I don't know if that's still the case or not. And so that's kind of, if you're in it for the long haul, whether you're gonna, if you're in the car, for example, because you may be using Google Maps or something.
Yeah.
But
well,
it's going to be in the dock for a while.
It's a good question, that one, and I think because I did look into, especially with an iPhone, how I think so. Concept saying there, if he's correct, he doesn't think that's a thing anymore. I don't think it is.
Which I would hope not. With them pushing, because that's the whole point of wireless, is the convenience of pick up, drop down, pick up, drop down.
Yeah, I don't think that's that. I think concept is correct. I think first 3 times let it be fully charged, but honestly, you don't know for sure. No, I think concept is right. I think you're right, concept, and I think what happens with the battery now is that you can charge it, as you said, Aaron. You can charge it, use a bit, charge it, use a bit, charge it, use a bit. I don't actually think, from what I've read, I don't think that has any major effect on the lifespan of the battery. I don't think it does.
Which is helpful. I mean, that's yeah.
See, somebody like John would probably know the name of the type of batteries that used to have like a memory, a set memory. I can't remember what they're called.
Well, like Concept was saying, was, and I still do this now. If I know my phone's getting really terrible battery life, I'll let it die, and then I'll charge it back up from dead, and kind of go through that cycle and kind of give it a recycle, whether it needs it or not. I'll do it.
Yeah.
So, but that's a good point. So, I mean, it just depends. It really just depends on what kind of accessories you want on your phone. If you're okay with this loop and a thin case, then it'll work. If you want to use a pop socket, then it doesn't work. So, I don't know. Because I've got the car charger I'm reviewing now, and then I've got their desk charger as well, which has been working out great. But I've been using it as a as a nightstand charger, and like I said, I'd rather have my phone plugged in. So I don't know if I'll keep using that after my review goes live. I'll keep using the car charger because that's convenient. That's really convenient. But so concept here.
That's fair enough. Yes.
Let's see here. I have my S5 or Note 4. If that was bad, I go out the battery and bang.
Oh yeah, he's saying basically being able to remove the.
Yeah, change the battery out. No, I'm with you there. I had the S3 was the first Galaxy device that I had, and I think I bought like a 4,500 milliamp hour battery for that thing or something. Like the normal battery died, and I was doing a bunch of travel for work, and I think I ended up buying some monstrous back. Like it doubled the thickness of the phone. Like they had to send you a whole new back piece because it was a zero lumen battery. It gave me like almost 2 full days of battery life. I love that thing. But if you needed to, you could just swap it out with another battery. So you didn't have to get those gigantic ones if you didn't want to.
Yeah, that's true. That was a handy thing to have, wasn't it? The ability to swap, the batteries like that. But
so then that can lead into one of the kind of the third point there is those Samsung ads. Did you happen to watch any of those?
I've seen a couple of them. Yeah, I haven't, like really studied them or anything. But yeah.
So John mentioned it on, I think it was like his first Saturday video, I think. Was it Saturday? Yeah, he was just going after Samsung for their marketing of what they've been doing lately is they've just been going after Apple about why they're so much better. That it touched base on the dongle. It came after the camera. It went after fast charging and the speed of the phone, and the ads, to me, I thought they were really funny. Like, I'm not really an Apple fanboy, and I'm not necessarily a Samsung fanboy. I'm more of an Android fan than I am iOS. I think some of the points are valid, like the fast charge point. I know John mentioned the same thing. Having fast charge be a capability, but not including that in the box, I think is crap. I don't think that's right. But when it comes to the dongle or when it comes to the camera, that kind of stuff, like, really? You know what I mean? Like I guess they're so confident in their product, they're almost to the point of where they're being cocky about it, where they're just rubbing it in Apple's faces. But
yeah, and I suppose they feel that that's the the angle they want to take. That's how they want to do it. That's how they want to advertise it and what have you. So I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it, really? I mean, some of it is funny. When you look at some of Samsung's ads, like with the haircut, the notch haircut and stuff like that, when you look at some of the stuff that they do, it's quite funny. But, I don't know. Everyone's going to have an opinion about that, I think.
Yeah.
So
the concept was talking about the double dongle. So if you guys haven't seen that one, I'll have to... give me a second. I'll put it in chat, because it was actually really funny.
Concept saying that he hates dongles. Yeah, I know.
I have a feeling that he hates a lot of things.
Well, Concept knows what he knows what he wants, and he knows what he likes. So that's good.
So there's the link to the ads, and the first one is Ingenious dongle, and it's funny where he mentions, like, if I want to listen to music, what do I need to do? He's like, well, you use the dongle. He's like, well, what if I need to charge at the same time? He's like, well, then you need another dongle. So then the customer, something along the lines, he's like, so I have to get... somehow they get to a double dongle, and the customer goes, that sounds explicit. Like, just the way, I don't know, the way he delivered it was really, really funny. So, I mean, I don't know. I think Samsung is... I don't know. I don't think they need to make these ads. I get where they're coming from, because some of their points are valid, like the fast charge. That's stupid. And the thing with the notch can also be stupid. They went after the S6's battery thing. I don't know. I wish they would be better than that, if that makes sense. Because their products are good. It's not like they're having a subpar product and they have to like bash their competitor
exactly. And they have
to make it look better. Yeah. It's a good product already. Just let your product sell itself. Maybe do some advertising, of course, but I don't know. Yeah, concept, like I said, they don't need to do these, but they're funny. Yeah, exactly. They're very funny. I think they're good.
Yeah, they definitely are funny. You can't deny that. You can't deny that.
Yeah.
They are fun. They are very funny.
Let's see. And then I don't know if I want to talk about the MacBook Pro's overheating. Have you looked into that very much?
Not really. I mean, as far as I'm aware, the MacBook Pros, there's a software problem, which has now been corrected by Apple. I don't know. It's gonna. There are quite a few videos out there now. Obviously, it was one thing that I will say. It was nice that Apple appear to have worked with a. What actually is his name?
I think his name's Dave Lee. But he goes by Dave 2D.
Yeah. But it's nice that they've worked with him, and because you don't hear that very often, do you? Don't hear of Apple working directly with a YouTuber.
You don't ever hear a YouTuber say, "I was working with Apple," or "Apple came to me directly," because I think Jonathan Morrison and Dave both said the same thing.
Yeah.
I've been hearing the grumblings of this and the putting your MacBook in the freezer type jokes, but Dave actually did that in his video. Just to prove the point of it being a cooling issue, and he showed that there was a 10-minute difference in the export of video when he had his MacBook in the freezer. 10-minute difference. So, I mean, John's point in his video was that, Dave kind of threw the toughest situation at it that he probably could have, which was raw 5K, video files, which, yeah, that's pretty brash. That's pretty, in your face, just trying to kill it. What?
Crispy 5K? Is that what we're talking about here?
Jeez. You're going to comment on Dave's video and be like, hello, excuse me, I'm going to need that, please, if you can. But yeah, I think he just dumped that raw in there, edited it, or did whatever he needed to do, and then exported it. And I think John Prosser mentioned this in his video, where it almost sounded like Jonathan Morrison was kind of making excuses, where it was like you're trying to do too much on your $7,000 computer. I think John Morrison then came out and really kind of said, hey, that's not really what I'm trying to get at, but here are some more real life cases. Because if you follow John Morrison on YouTube for days, he'd been posting, I'm doing this codec with this, and I'm doing this and with this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm H.264, I think. Like, I don't care about that stuff. Like, I export and what I know works, and that's just all I do. But I know for people that really care about that stuff, like, it makes sense. So, I mean, Dave was kind of like, here's this one general thing that I did. John had a 10-minute long video of all these different scenarios, and it didn't look as bad on John's part as it did in Dave's. John's points were still, this should be doing better than what it's doing, but it's not as bad as what Dave 2D was making it look like. At least that's kind of that's the Cliff Noted version that I got out of that.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
So, anyways, it sounds like they came up with the patch, and then they. Yeah,
it sounds like they fixed that issue best they can. So yeah, that's interesting. I personally haven't had my hands on one, so I can't comment really on that. But what I may do is put myself in the freezer.
Oh, excuse me. That might be. Leave your freezer open. Let it keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, it may defrost itself. Yeah, just leave the door open. Mm-hmm. Or you could get a deep freeze, and then just sit in it.
Not a bad idea. That would definitely cool me down.
So Elijah, well, if you ever want to get work done and stay cool, using your MacBook Pro in the freezer sounds like a good plan. Apple might be onto something. Yeah.
Actually, you never know. Especially for people with children that won't leave you alone, like me, Then I'd love to go and sit in the freezer and shut the door and bye, see you next Monday, and then...
Just take 4 days and just stay away from them, huh?
Yeah. You get lots done that way, so that's good.
Let's see. And really, when it comes to news topics, that is about all I've got.
Yeah,
so
I think
that's kind of the headlines of what's been going on in the last week that I've noticed. The wireless charging was just a random topic because it's applicable to what I'm currently reviewing and working on getting out. And I think we still have 9 people in here. I'm imagining at least 5 of them are probably tech creators. Possibly, I could be wrong. So I don't know if any of you guys have watched Travis and McPee's latest video. He did that last night. or released it yesterday, and it had to do with why being a tech reviewer can be hard in this day and age. And Andrew, your comment, the proprietary deep freeze adapter is sold separately. That's genius. I'm surprised they didn't do that. They probably have an additional air conditioning unit that they would sell with that for another $4,000. It just hasn't been released yet, kind of like AirPower. But so Travis's video. So for those of you in the stream still that are creators, so Travis's point was, when you're a small creator, it can be very easy to blend the line on your morals, I guess, because like what he was saying in his video was, I'm 550 some odd subscribers or something like that, and I've got companies that reach out to me, and most of the time the emails are addressed very generically. Like, you can tell that they were sent to a group of, I don't know, like 150 different reviewers or something. And I actually got my first one back in like October of last year, and I actually tried to kind of challenge the company a little bit and actually ask them what video of mine that they liked. So what they normally do, for the guys that haven't seen it, you'll get an email and it'll say something along the lines of, hey, dear YouTube content creator, or something. It won't actually address it to you specifically. It'll have a link to their Amazon page. It'll say, hey, do you want to review this product? If you say yes, they will typically want you to buy the product on Amazon, and then they will reimburse you right afterwards. And I'll be upfront with saying that I've done that several times before in the past, and I've never had any issue with not ever getting paid back from a company. The one thing that I refuse to do is, I have reached out to some companies before where they will send you the product. You have to pay for the product. They'll send it to you, but they won't reimburse you until they look at until the review's been posted. That I refuse to do, and that's something that I hope anyone that's in this stream that creates refuses to do, because that is basically, there's a very real chance that if you are yourself in that video and you're honest about it, and there's something that they don't like, they don't have to pay you back. There's an email agreement saying, yeah, they'll pay you back, but there's nothing actually holding them to it. But then also, if you know, hey, for me to be able to get my money back, they're probably going to want to like this review, you may be, and Travis was saying the same thing, because when I first watched it, I kind of took offense to what he was saying. But then the more you kind of sit on it and you think about it, that wasn't his intention. He was saying that, it's human nature that if someone sends you something like that, they say it's like a $50 product and they give it to you for free, you want to help them. You want to give them something in return for the $50 that they gave you in free product. However, and really, you can give a good, in the cases where you buy the product and they reimburse you right away, you can still be honest and you're not out anything. And most of the companies that I've worked with, they've reimbursed me right away. I've never had any kind of issues, and I've still been very honest in my review. I'm always honest in my reviews, but if there's an issue, I'm still very upfront about that, and I will say it in kind of a constructive way. If something is so bad, I've had products sent to me before where they just haven't worked, and I just don't review that stuff. So Roger, I don't know if you have this issue at all. If you get products sent to you and you review it and it's just junk, spending your time on actually reviewing something versus just spending your time on the stuff that's good. Because Jonathan Morrison said the same thing one time, where he was like, there's enough negativity in the world. I don't want to put negative reviews out there. And I get where he was coming from. It's more of a, if I'm going to review it, it may have some nuances that I don't like, but overall it's a good product. I'm not going to spend...
Yeah, this is very true. This is very true. And I went in and commented on the video, on Travis's video, and then I felt a little bit bad afterwards because of... don't get me wrong, it wasn't nasty or anything, but I just basically commented and said, this definitely isn't the case for me, because I definitely wouldn't review anything that I didn't believe in, blah, 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 blah. And what I was trying to get at, and Travis knows this anyway, he's a lovely guy, isn't he? So he's not silly. He gets what I was trying to say. And all I was trying to say was, I spend so long creating a video, like hours and hours and hours, to get shots at a certain angle and in the correct light and that, all of that stuff. There is no chance at the moment that I'm going to spend 15 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, whatever, working on a video that takes me that long with a product that's an absolute load of rubbish. I'm just not going to bother. Why would I do that? Why, you know, why would I do that? There's just no point. So, so if a company sends me a product and it's rubbish, I'll send it back. Thank you very much. Goodbye. You know.
Yeah, and so that's what I've done it where, you know, like my Blitzwolf review on that tripod.
Oh yes.
The first one that I had, and I even mentioned it on live stream, because I was using it to live stream at the time.
Yeah,
I would put my phone here, and then my phone would start to drop down.
That's right.
That's not supposed to happen. That tripod's supposed to be able to hold something that's theoretically, like, you know, 4 times as heavy as this phone, but it wasn't doing it. So I reached out to Blitzwolf and I told them, like, you know, you've got an issue. This shouldn't be doing it, obviously. And they said the same thing. And I said, unless you can send me another one, I'm not going to be reviewing your product.
Fair enough.
So they sent me another one. I tested it for a week and a half. I had a phone. I literally just sat it in that stand, and I let it sit there for like 4 days, and it didn't move an inch. So
that's cool.
There's something to be said about getting a product and it having issues and giving the company a chance to make it right.
Yep.
Of going, okay, maybe I did just get a dud. You know, I don't want to just totally blast on this tripod without at least giving them an opportunity to send me another one to see if it's the same type of issue. Because the way I look at it is, if I had bought that tripod off of Amazon and it did that, I would have just returned it. You know, I wouldn't have been out any kind of money. I would have gone, hey, this product's defective, it has issues. I would have sent it back, and I would have got a new one. And the second one I got from them would have been my new one, and I never had any kind of issue with it. So had that second one had issues, I probably would have gone, okay, hold on, we may need to look at breaking this off and this not being something that we do. I mean, I went back and I watched Travis's video that he referred to. In his video, the one that he was apologizing for, and I give him credit for doing that. I mean, he apparently felt guilty of doing that, and I'm not going to judge him for that. If that's something that he felt guilty for, he wanted to make it right, then that's fine.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you think about it, really, if he hadn't have mentioned that, nobody ever would have known that. So really, that just proves...
It proves his character.
It does.
Because it proves that he, you know, and I watched it because I wanted to know kind of what he was talking about. You know, what because he mentioned that he was kind of masking the negatives and still coming up with a positive as to why you should still buy the device.
Yeah.
And I watched the video, and I don't know if I necessarily agree with him. I mean, if he felt bad, he apologized, and he took care of it. You know, kudos to him on that. I'm not negatively speaking towards that at all. No. But with the way that I thought that he did it, he was up front where he said, you know, I can't tell a difference with this thing. You know, I've used 3 different pairs of headphones, and none of them sound any different when I have this thing activated. But if you have wired headphones and you want to make them Bluetooth headphones, this thing works out pretty well. To me, I thought those were very valid points. And he was up front saying what they market this as a sound enhancer or whatever, it doesn't do that for crap. Like, it's bad. Like, it doesn't do that. But if you want to turn your wired headphones into wireless headphones, this does a pretty good job of that. I think he had a valid point, because I think with what he was doing, it was working okay from the sense of turning those into wireless headphones.
Yeah.
But I can see... I see where he's coming from, because it's marketed as a sound enhancing device, but instead it did a terrible job at that. But it was an okay Bluetooth transmitter, or turning, you know, wired headphones into Bluetooth headphones. So if they had marketed that towards being that device of turning wired headphones into wireless headphones, then it would have been just fine. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like their marketing was off. I see where he's coming from, because yeah, I don't know. It was a very thought-provoking video, and I think it was something good for a lot of reviewers to keep an eye out on.
I thought it was very, very good.
Yeah, if you are going to review something for, I know like Viper's very against paying for something up front and then being reimbursed. Hates it, won't do it. That's him. That's fine. No big deal. I've had several cases where I've done that, or I mean, most stuff that I've had sent to me, I've never not had an issue with doing it, because I always get paid back right away. And there's always that chance that I won't. But I have had a couple of companies go, we won't pay you until I can see the review. it doesn't matter how much I like their products, I won't do that. And I think most of us probably would agree on that. Just because it could force you to be biased in cases you wouldn't normally be biased because you want to make sure you get paid.
Yeah, that's not, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Yeah, because I think even if you were to do it, yeah, I just don't know. Overall, I think that one's just kind of one of those, that would be one of those fishy times, because you just, and most of us wouldn't even know that. If someone got into that agreement, if someone got into that agreement with a company, we wouldn't know that unless they said that. You know what I mean?
No,
but that's but that's where the integrity part comes into play.
That's very, very true. Yeah, but I honestly think that it's hard when you're a smaller creator, when you first start, when you've got 0 subscribers and you're trying to find a way, and then you get 10 or 50 subscribers and you're trying to find a way to get products and so on. And it's like Travis said in his video, it's very tempting to say yes to anything.
Yeah.
So that you get your hands on some products. I think the stage that, the way I feel now is that you have a company like, for example, the watch video, TicWatch. I actually reached out to them. So they didn't contact me. I contacted them because I'd seen the watch. I'd seen an ad for the watch or something, and I thought it looked really, really cool. Thought it looked really good, and I thought it was priced reasonably as well. So I wanted to get in touch with those about the watch, and they very kindly sent it to me to take a look at. But, had that turned up and it had been absolute garbage, I would have just put it back in the mail, back to them, and said, thank you very much for sending it out. I really do appreciate it, but it's not for me, and I won't be reviewing it. That's it.
Yep.
As it turned out, it was, I think, personally very good for the money, and it's got lots of features, and blah, 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 blah. So, of course, I decided then to, yes, okay, let's spend 12 hours and work on it. But, yeah, it's so hard. It's so hard when, you're looking for things to review and a way to get your hands on products. And that's where some of these companies take advantage, and they try to do these crazy things, like send you a product that you've had to pay for, and you'll get the money back, but they're going to wait until you've done the review first.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, it's not right of them to do it in the first place, and then it's not right for us to agree to do it.
Yeah.
And kind of like Concept saying, honestly, at the beginning you have to invest. I would agree with you, but then I would also disagree with you at the same time, and I mean that in a very respectful way. When I first started, I was reviewing products that I already had. So, and I think that Sean Cannell, most of your YouTube gurus say the same thing. If you're going to be a product reviewer, review the stuff you already have. So, if you've got an S8 Plus, review the S8 Plus. If you have the case for it, review the case for it. If you have the Ninja Loop, review the Ninja Loop. Like, I've done all that stuff. I was reviewing the stuff that I already had. If you run out of that stuff, then you're right. Then like Jeff, that guy has probably got $4 bazillion in headphones, that he's bought himself. That I think he probably could and I think he's starting to get some of them from Anker now, but he was buying a lot of these Anker and Bluetooth devices, and I was like, man, if he can afford to do that, and I don't know how to say this without being negative, but that's not my intent. Like, if you can afford to spend the money on the headphones, then more power to you. But I think if I had been him and bought 4 pairs of Bluetooth headphones and did liked their products, I'd try to reach out to him, and maybe he has. I don't know. But there's your example of really just investing the money yourself and just doing what you want, and then seeing what happens out of it. Because I think the last one he did, not the one yesterday with the true wireless headphones, but it may have been this morning. I don't remember. But I think he had Anker actually sent him a pair. So maybe that's starting to work out for him in that way. So I think there's something to be said about, because Roger, I think you said with those speaking cases, you bought those.
Yeah, absolutely. I've bought when I started. Yes, I bought products and reviewed them. Some of them I kept. Some of the products I kept. Some of them I sold on. And that's something else. Another little thing that I've done with a few products. Is I've bought the product, I've used it for the review, and then I've sold it and got my money back. So I had the product, I reviewed it, and then I've sold it on, and then used that same money to buy another product, which I've reviewed, and then I've sold that on. But you do, of course, most of the time lose a little bit of money each time. So it's still costing you money in the long run. You've still got your own money going into it. So yeah, but that's how I've sort of done things so far. Buy something, review it, sell it. Mm-hmm. Unless, of course, it's something that's really, really cool and you want to keep it.
I was actually surprised. So the first company I had reach out to me, like I said, was back like I think November of last year, and I was still at the time I was only at like 150 subs. I was not big at all, and like Travis mentions, when you're new, you get very excited about having companies come to you, because typically you take that as affirmation as to what you're doing is working. You know, you're doing something good, until you really step back and think about it, and it's really because they're emailing 300 people and they're just hoping that, you know, 10% of that or less, you know, they're expecting maybe 3% people to actually bite on it. So it's kind of hard to not let pride get in the way on that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, it's true.
But that also is just a testament towards, you don't have to be big to get products sent to you. You know, like you can, like I said, I was 150 subscribers. Christopher Lee, you know, Chris is still fairly small. You know, I think he's about half the size I am, and I definitely don't mean that in any negative way at all. But he's working with companies on his own too. I mean, you know, he's doing quite a bit of stuff that he's had sent to him. So it's more so.
Christopher's doing well, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's doing really good for you know, for his size. He's still, you know.
It's nice that it's nice that he's just getting on with it. He's mixing with everybody, and he's doing like the collabs, like especially I can't remember the title of the video, but the one with everybody's handsets. You know, I think it's really really good.
Oh, he did. He did a really good job with that thumbnail.
Yeah. Oh, he did the thumbnail. Yeah, I was looking at the thumbnail, thinking to myself, "Wow, this is really really good." Actually, he did a really good job of that. Very very good. But yeah,
all right.
No, it's cool.
So, yeah, so that's really kind of all we've got for tonight's stream. You know, we're almost 2 hours into it. Roger, I appreciate you sticking around as long as you did. We're looking at...
No worries.
What time is it? 1:18 your time now? 2:18? 3:18? I don't know.
It's 3:18.
3:18 Concept. It's 4:18 for you. Go to bed.
Oh my goodness, Concept's still awake. He's just crazy.
Yeah, I don't even know why he's here. That's dedication.
That is dedication there. I'll pay you later, Concept. Get some sleep first, and I'll transfer the money in the morning.
Yeah, 4:18. Yeah, I appreciate you coming along, Concept. But yeah, so unless anyone in chat's got any kind of questions for us or anything like that, I think we'll probably go ahead and call it quits here. Dave, you stuck around. Thank you. Elijah, thank you very much for sticking around, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you to everybody there.
And Dave, appreciate you as well.
Yeah, it's been good fun.
So, well, with that being said, I will give this maybe another 10 seconds before going to our end.
9. I'm joking.
To see if anyone has anything to say, but
yeah.
Other than that, thank you, Roger. Appreciate your time, man. Appreciate all the work you did into this as well. I was very happy with it. And Scott, thank you for stopping by as well. I think I may have missed you earlier with saying bye. So, everyone, thank you very much. Have a great night. If you're a content creator or whatever, you know, keep doing you. Stay true to yourself. Be honest. You know, just do the rest of us right. So, take care. Have a good night, and we'll see you guys around.
Bye bye.